Alright, hello everyone, I am Gerdat14, and with me today is...
LyokoSaver.
Yes, LyokoSaver. And today, we are going to be discussing the new changes for the April 1st, which is a really weird date to actually have a list on, especially when the next one is fucking July 13th. The hell, Konami. But we're going
Oh
to be
yeah.
discussing the changes to the next Forbidden Limited list in Yu-Gi-Oh! And to discuss how we feel about them. I am going the wrong way.
You're going the wrong way.
Yes, I was going the damn wrong way. Anyway, for... Alright, the first major change on the list that I am familiar with is that the Morphing Jar number 2 went from unlimited to banned this list, and there is a particular reason for that. What do you think about it, Forrest?
For the Morphin Jar 2, I've never really ever run into it myself, but I have talked to a friend of mine about how there was some combo where you basically kept just looping your deck with it.
Yes, there is the famous empty jar combo, but one of the reasons why I keep hearing that I was hearing about it was because, god damn it, Morphing Jar number 2 combos incredibly well with Jackpot 7, one of the new spell cards coming out.
Oh, that's what it was.
Uh huh.
What's
Although you know it's an incredibly gimmicky setup, and I'm not entirely sure how consistent it is.
Yeah, this ban list seems to really hit or touch around weird with gimmicky stuff,
Yeah.
and then just minor D powers.
Mm, uh, do you think that that making Morphing Jar 2 banned right from Unlimited is a good idea though?
I'm normally not okay with straight bans on stuff. Especially with the 3-month format, I almost feel like you should limit to see how it does. Like, I hate just completely killing a deck. Yeah, they have great combos and stuff, but I feel like you should just depower it, and then if it's still broken, break it, but kind of give it a chance, especially when you have 3 months in between them.
Right.
It doesn't. It seems a little harsh to just go, especially with them kind of slowly unbanning stuff like Magician of Faith and
Hmm.
whatnot.
Very slowly.
Yeah, it's a weird choice overall.
I agree, honestly. I think that Morphing Jar number 2 is a very weird choice to go from unlimited to banned. I would much rather see it go to 1. Although that would probably up the consistency of the particular OTK deck. It would also, you know, it would also make it far more difficult to actually set up. So,
Hmm. It's almost one of those. You, yeah, the harder you make it to set up,
the
can
more
just be
rewarding it
enough.
gets, you know.
Yeah, the more it's not going to be run often enough where I don't feel it's an actual problem.
Right.
Because if only like 2 people at a tournament of say 30 or 40 run it, then is it really that big of a deal?
Mhm. All right. I think that covers our thoughts on Morphing Jar number 2. How about Morphing Jar number 1 finally getting banned?
That's probably actually for the best. Like, I've seen it a few times, which so far every time I ran into it, it helped me. So I've never complained about it.
Okay.
But with the return of Dark Worlds and a few other cards that like emptying their hands and whatnot, it's kind of probably for the best.
Mhm. I personally love to see Morphing Jar finally gone, but it does hurt me a little bit because I was one of the dicks that loved using Morphing Jar's effect either to screw over my opponent or to help out myself in way too many ways.
Hmm.
Still, I think it's a good hit because Morphing Jar number 1, yeah, it's an incredibly powerful card, and I'm not entirely sure if I ever want it to come back. I just know that it's good for it to be gone right now.
I say take it out for a little bit. I'm fine with stuff slowly coming back to see, because
Mhm.
as the game changes, certain stuff just isn't a threat anymore.
Right,
Like BLS came back after
which I still think is
forever.
stupid, especially with one of the later things that happens on the list. God damn it!
Oh, I think
All
we'll have a
right,
difference
I
there.
think that covers our thoughts on the banning of Morphing Jar number 1. Let's see here. What else do we have here? We also have what's new.
Don't think anything else got banned.
Yeah, nothing else got banned, but we have a new limit, which was unlimited just a moment ago, and in the Coach Warrior Wolfbark. I honestly think this is a really good limit, but it's not the one that I wanted for Fire Fists.
I unfortunately do not have much experience with Fire Fists to actually say one way or the other, though looking at it, that is a pretty quick XYZ play.
It's not just a pretty quick XYZ play. It's almost an immediate Tiger King into the rest of your deck. Wolfbark enables Fire Fist and enables explosive Fire Fists a lot.
Okay. See, I don't know if I've ever actually played straight Fire Fist, unfortunately. So I can't... Sorry, I can't say too much on that, but I can see where it could potentially be good.
To be honest, though, I was really hoping that Tenki would go to 1. I really wanted Tenki to get hit. I mean, hitting the Fire Fist deck is a good idea because they're still one of the most played and more powerful decks right now. But I was really hoping to see Tenki go instead of Wolfbark.
Tenki I could see because it is a powerful search, but if anything, I'd dump it to 2 right now just because a lot of decks use it.
Well, that's the main reason why I want it down to 1, because it's way too damn splashable.
I just say, I don't know. Like, 1 would stop it being as you go both ways. On the one hand, it depowers all the decks, but on the other hand, that's also a pretty fun search card. It's, I don't know. Probably 1 wouldn't be bad to it, though.
Alright. Okay, next up on the list we have, Mermail Abyss Gun. This is not the Mermail that I wanted to hit. It's not.
It's one of those, this is part of what I actually like about the ban list as we go through it, is that it hit a lot of decks without breaking them, which Gund is another example. Like, that does hurt Mermails.
Yes, it hurts them, but not nearly as much as I wanted to hurt them.
I know, but I hate to have another situation like, what was it? Maybe not last format, but the format before, where it broke everyone in the top. Forget if it was the last ban list or the one right before.
I don't think the January ban list really touched all that much.
No, that just did a lot of weird stuff. It might have been the one before when I think Spellbooks and Rulers and everyone in Tier 1 basically got hit. I like when stuff's depowered, but not, oh, there's no point in running this anymore.
Right.
So Goon's almost a nice balance out, just because it slows them down a bit, but they're still Mermails, so they'll explode.
They're still going to explode, and that's my main problem with hitting Goond. Goond is a really good choice to hit, it is, but it's not nearly as good a choice to hit as fucking Lined. Lined should have been hit, damn it.
Was Lined the one that discards from your hand?
No, that's Pikeman. Lined is the one that SSS from the deck.
Oh, yes, okay. I have some experience. I just can't ever remember their names because I get all mixed up with their Goon Lined and all such.
Goon, Lined, Pikeman, Osea.
Their names are just too many letters.
Yes, way too many damn letters. Alright, next up then we have... It's actually a pretty short thing, but Rekindling is next. I am very glad to see this go down to 1.
It's a very interesting hit.
Yes, especially since we've needed this hit for 5 fucking formats or more.
There are a lot of fire decks that this is gonna hit, so it's certainly...
A lot of people are already mourning the loss of Lavels, and I honestly think that even with a single Rekindling, Lavels can still go off and do their thing, especially if they don't focus Shooting Star. Lavels sans Shooting Star is still a pretty powerful deck. It just takes a pretty big hit from Rekindling.
And I mean, Shooting Star is great and all, but that isn't it isn't your only play.
Right. You can go into Stenin, although Stenin's not that great. You can go into Dual Slasher or Greater. You have plenty of plays with Lavels, and you know Dragoon is still an amazing control card. It's
just about, oh, my one combo lost. Well, then make a new combo. Why? Because your deck's still good, sir.
Yes. I honestly think that Rekindling is either going to stay limited or jump to banned at some point. But I am sad to see it go, but I'm happy it's gone.
It's certainly a fun play-around card, but at the same point, there's a lot of decks that use it too much right now.
Yes, it's very easy to abuse. There's your gas. Alright. with that, the next thing that happened is that Infernity Barrier finally got limited. And to all of those people who want to tell me that Infernity Barrier is not broken, you didn't see Burke play his Infernities.
Infernity Barrier is probably a good hit just because you hate to give any one archetype who has a really good negation card like that all three, because then it basically negates all the limits and stuff you have on the general spit table cards.
Right.
It's
Infernity
almost
Barrier, its main problem is that it hits a lot of shit. Your opponent moves to the right arm, Infernity Barrier. Then, they no longer have a right arm.
It hits pretty much anything but a summon, and even then it hits a lot of potential summonings.
And no, it does hit summonings, doesn't it?
When your opponent activates a spell, trap card, or a monster effect while you control face-up attack position Infernity monster, and you have no cards in your hand. Which, I mean, monster effects that do summon, it'll hit.
Right.
But it doesn't stop straight summons. But that's still huge, and
yeah, that is still a huge pool of effects that it can hit.
And it's counter trap, and basically you're free at Divine Wrath.
Yep. This is a card that I'm actually a bit iffy on, though. Because as awesome as Infernity Barrier is, I'm glad I know that it needed a hit, but I'm not sure if hitting it down to 1 was ideal. I want to say that it would have been better to hit it down to 2 to see how it went.
2 might not have been bad, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll basically have to see how that plays out more than anything.
I don't really understand why the sudden hit on Barrier, though. I mean, Barrier is in fact an amazing card, yeah, but it's been an amazing card since it came out. And this is like the first time when we've seen anything big in Infernities get hit.
Did Infernities just jump back out to the field or something, and that's why it got hit? Or?
No, Infernity, aside from the release of Void Ogre Dragon, nothing that has really, given support for Infernities recently. And Void Ogre Dragon's been out for a year or more.
That is actually a really weird choice. Maybe with Pendulum Summoning, trying to stop them.
No, because Pendulum Summoning isn't a card effect.
And the Pendulum monsters wouldn't count as spell or trap when they're activated, would they?
They are Pendulum monsters that are going onto the Pendulum skill do count as spells, but that you'd only hit 1 monster that way. So,
I don't know. It's
this whole weird hit.
It is a weird hit.
Alright, up next we have the semi-limited stuff, which is new Necroface. Oh god.
This lets a lot of fun happen, but I don't know how to feel about the fun.
Yes, bringing Necroface back to 2, especially with Sark still gone, it's interesting. It's very interesting. The thing is, I really think that this is going to respawn the Necro Mill and Necro Reset decks.
Oh, I'm going to play the same game so many times. So can I please go? No, we're just going to keep redrawing. No. No.
But you won 5 turns ago. No, I won 15 turns ago. For the first game!
Oh, this is just a really interesting choice.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't really see Necro Reset being that competitive, but Necro Mill is most certainly still going to be really competitive.
Mm-hmm. It's almost more of just like a weird, like about half this panel is just hitting the weird stuff.
Or bringing it back, because Necroface was limited. Now it's back to 2.
I guess I should use touching the weird stuff instead of hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is a strange hit to me simply because I've never actually used Necroface. So I have problems, actually lining up all the different combo pieces together. I know why and how it works, but having never done it myself, I'm not entirely sure what brings people to play it.
See, I don't run Chaos and Banish decks very often. For whatever reason, I just don't. Though I have seen Necroface, but I also saw it back when Dragon Warrior was at their prime, so it was already like, just please stop. I'm putting Madolche Knight back in the deck, okay?
Well, we'll get to that later. But up next, because I think we're done with Necroface.
Yeah.
Hieratic Seal of Convocation. This is an interesting one to go to semi for me, because in all seriousness, hieratic rulers were definitely a thing at the start of this format. I remember seeing quite a few of them, and according to the forum that I peruse from time to time, Zero Creative, must go plug that as much as possible. Hieratic rulers are still actually a thing, but I don't see Convocation actually being a worthy semi here. Because you don't really need Convocation and Hieratics to explode with them. All you really need to do is open up with, what is it? It's not Tiamat, it's Tefnut.
Tefnut?
Tefnut.
Yeah, Tefnut. It doesn't, like, hurt them too much. It just kind of limits their search, which I have seen a lot of hieratic search plays done.
Well, that's the thing. All their monsters when tributed off, which is their primary source of advantage, continue to search either to the field or to the hand. Usually to the field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure, their attack and defense go to 0, but they're not going to stay on the field long enough for that to matter.
Yeah, and they're just going to bring out a tomb as fast as they can into metal and whatnot. So it almost just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily slow them down, because as you said, they just tribute combo, but it almost stops a little their recovery, I guess, if you stop them mid hard enough.
Yeah, but if you're gonna stop them, you're gonna stop them early, not mid.
Well, yeah, I guess mid may not, but it's like most of this ban list. It's just really weird.
It is. That's the keyword for this ban list. This is really weird.
It's somewhere between odd and that gif of, look this, it's absolutely nothing.
Alright, with that I think we're done with the seal, which brings us to the 2 unlimited cards. And this is what really worries me, this list.
Oh, really?
Yes, I am definitely worried about our new unlimiteds. 1, Magical Stone Excavation is back. This one doesn't worry me that much, honestly, because no one was fucking running it when it was at 1 or 2. Matter of fact, I think it went from 1 to 3.
I don't really like the card myself. I don't feel like there's anything I really want to give up 2 cards for.
Right. You know, maybe that Dark Hole, which you're going to use as Raigeki, but then you should have enough combo pieces in your hand to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There's the worship. Woo.
In Primals, I guess we're still on Excavation, sorry.
Yeah. I'm just confused as to why this one happened. I'm not really worried about it, but I'm confused as to why. We know that Magical Excavation is a very powerful card. It was used primarily in the Gearfried Exodia deck for a long time. But I'm not entirely sure what's really going to happen with it at 3.
I almost think it's just kind of them getting things off the list that don't need to be there anymore.
Which makes sense, because Stone hasn't been seeing play since it got limited, and I don't think it will see play now that it's unlimited either.
I think it's the meta's moved past it, except for some guy who has a deck. It's like, finally, I can use this. It's like, to what purpose? I don't know. He probably has a fun combo. Good on you, man.
Yeah.
Fun combos are fun.
You know, a combo with Dandelion, because everyone knows Magical Stone Excavation with Dandelion combos very well.
Oh, that's actually not bad.
Alright, and the last thing on the list, this one actually scares me. Primal Seed going to Unlimited. I am terrified of this.
I'm not. I don't think that's a big deal at all.
And I understand why, because BLS is still the only target for it. But need I remind you that I have this ingrained hatred for BLS.
Yeah, but I feel like the only people that are going to run this are the weird gimmick decks, which if you're already doing the combo with it, you probably won anyways, and you're just showing off. Just because BLS is at 1, I don't think you have enough targets to consistently run it.
True. Unless of course you're just going to Hinotama loop them to death.
Mm-hmm. Which, like, the loop to death stuff is potential, but that also is just, I feel like that's going to be a gimmick deck that some guy just runs. You're not going to see it competitive.
Right. I don't know though. I think I could make a Winkaribo level 9 deck actually competitive using that, but it would take a lot of testing and stuff that I'm not really willing to do.
That's basically what my thought too. It's just technically anything could be made competitive with the right amount of
amount of testing and time put into it. After all, we've seen Chaos Neospacians work.
It's a fun build. I honestly kind of want to rebuild it again, but I don't know. It's one of those things you can make anything work, but the average person and what you're going to majorly see, you're not going to see Primal Seed played in. I don't think. But it could be a hint of things to come.
Yes.
So I guess I can see your worry there if BLS gets bumped up, or
if BLS
might just
goes
get the
to
dragon
2,
back.
If BLS goes to 2 and Ceasefire does not, I will be very, very sad.
Yeah. Or we could see the dragon come back.
Hey, no. Stop. I will see Sagan come back before the dragon, goddammit.
Oh, you need your great emperor to lead you. To cry.
I do not want to be crying face down in my futon at night. I don't.
No, but with Valor and stuff, I don't know. It's still powerful, but there are ways to stop it now.
Yes, but prevention is never. Oh, another one or two. Prevention is never an argument when it comes to card balance.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just making it funny, really.
All right. Now, how about the list? Well, we did the list in general. It's fucking weird. What things were you really hoping to see on this list? I know that we discussed Tenki already, but
the thing is, I don't know what I honestly would have wanted to see. So far, I've been playing around with different Cyber Dragon variants and Madolche stuff that I don't know if I really wanted to see anything on this list too big. I almost like a list like this where it's just weird, because I feel like after Origin is when we'll really know when to hit. Just because Origin's going to add both the Sylvan and the Artifact archetype in, as well as some different support stuff. Well, buff the Sylvan archetype, but
right.
I don't know if I really consider it in just yet, because there's not too much to do with it. I don't feel it's fast enough yet.
Mm-hmm. Still waiting on that Arbiter.
It's more like the Sage Quarry and the Charities. I feel like it's just not... It takes too much time to set up that you basically get wiped away before it's time to go off.
Yeah, but with the Charities and Arbiter, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Once that stuff comes out, that'll help. The artifacts will be interesting because they're lights and fairies, so I wonder if some of that stuff's going to get hit.
Not only are they lights and fairies, but they're level 5 and they're spammable, making Pallades much, much easier.
Yep, and I'm just saying, all the support's oh, you dumped a bunch, let's just Christia while we're at it. Mm-hmm. Just go away. No.
Alright, what do you think is actually going to be major threats this format?
Oh, let's see. Mermills probably aren't going to go too much lower, if at all. Goon's not going to hit them. Major threats this format. I think Artifacts, when they come out, might see some play because they've got a bunch of 5 potential. They may be into at least tier 2, I'd say. Sylvans, I don't know if I'd put at tier 1. I don't necessarily feel they'll be fast enough,
right,
but they could potentially. That's still a weird mechanic, so it's anyone's guess. Madolches are going to be back to good because they're going to get around the stupid ruling they put on Tiara, which doesn't make any sense with the wording.
Wait. What ruling with that?
That you have to have a Madolche card in the grave to do her effect.
Ah, right.
Which doesn't make sense because it says detach then target.
Yeah.
But you don't have targets. It doesn't matter. Anyways, that's my own personal vendetta. But I feel like Madolche is still too weird to play. Mermills are going to be up there. Fire Fist probably not going to go too much down. Maybe some people give up on it, but for the most part not. The Dragons could still see play, but you've been saying that I guess they're going away. I don't think they should. Dragons are still dragons. Mm-hmm. They go raw and eat chomp chomp. There's no reason not to use them. Really, I don't know if the meta will really shift much. You'll basically add in the new archetypes, and they'll really be the changer-uppers. But I don't necessarily see any one deck coming out on top.
Now, according to the limited form perusing that I've been doing, people are getting a little bit more afraid of Madolches with Angeli coming out. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be, because I've seen you play Madolches, and yeah, once Madolches go off, they're actually very hard to counter against, because I have all of my cards back in my hand now. Thank you. Your Raigeki turns into Wingbeat of Giant Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Madolches have a lot of potential to them. They have a decent amount of swarm. They have a decent amount of combo that a lot of people talk about. Oh, they're so good. My opinion is, one, they're too easy to break. They are. It is so easy to break them. And two, I don't feel like they'll be run in a massive enough amount to be a threat. I think you'll see players like me that'll run them, but I don't think I think other people would rather go to more traditional style decks.
Right.
I feel like they'll be. I feel like it's kind of like when they first came out and when Hootcake came out and everything. There's just always going to be better decks to play than them.
Right.
So they're always going to be like that tier 2 anti-meta type deck that just floats around.
Speaking of anti-meta, this list doesn't touch Rockstun at all, and I know that Rockstun is still played, just not nearly as much as it used to be. Do you think Rockstun still actually has a significant chance this format?
Rockstun's still pretty good. I've ran into it a few times and been annoyed just about every time. Because it's a stun deck. Any stun deck that can go off and stop you, even just trip you up for a second, can be good, in my opinion. Just knocking off anyone's flow at all. So I say Rockstun still has potential.
Same here, honestly. Especially since Fossil Dyna and Doomcal are still such amazing cards to be using. Doomcal's pretty much Manager Bug, but for more beefier targets.
When Manager Bug just isn't enough, use Doomcal. Oh, well, yeah, I lost my joke halfway through there.
It's okay. My personal opinion is that Fire Fists and Dragon Rulers are still things to be worried about. Dragon Rulers not so much, but Fire Fists most definitely. What about Boojins? Because I know that I see Boojins from time to time, but I don't actually see them played nearly as much as I do Fire Fists.
I've ran into Boojins a few times. I think they're pretty good deck, but as you said, you just don't see them that much.
Okay.
You hear about people complaining and talking about them all the time, but...
Yeah, I attacked when my opponent had 4 cards in his hand, and he dropped a Swallow on me, and then he proceeded to go into game with Susano. Boojins are OP. No, you did something
Have you tried running Debunk?
Yeah. It's like that's like saying, my opponent is running let me think. What was I gonna do? My opponent is running stop attack deck, and I attacked him while he had 4 face downs on the field, and he magic cylinder me 3 times in a row.
Yeah, it's just because you got hit by an Honest doesn't mean the deck's suddenly great.
Yeah,
it just means you should be running a Debunk. If anything, I think Boojins are just basically a I can't think of the word. But
yeah, I think Boojins, the way that we're describing them, seems like a very good test of player skill.
Yeah, I guess it's a nice little test of... It's a nice little... This is a weird analogy, but it's almost like a gear check deck. It's checking what your, I guess, back row or prevention cards and what are there. Because if you're running Debunk, it's like, oh, I can just... No. But no. Why are you main decking 2 Debunks? Because of this. Because why not? People run Tragodia still.
Yes, not only do people run Tragodia, but they're also running Gores again. I'm glad to see Gores back, honestly. I'm not nearly as glad as I'm probably supposed to be, but...
Gores is always a fun card.
There's Soul Snatcher. Got it.
I just don't run enough decks that can bring them out and not get stuck with them in my hand.
Right. All right, and there are a couple other things that I wanted to bring up. Like, how do you feel about Harpies and Noble Knights this format?
Harpies, I'm happy about not being touched because I just ordered a bunch of Harpy cards, so I would have cried.
Okay.
It's like, oh, it's banned. Well, great. So Harpies, I think, are a really good stun deck, and I really hope they don't get hit because I'm making it, but they probably should because you can kind of wipe away your opponent's back row pretty quickly.
Speaking of that, is there anything that we really think that Harpy should see hit? Because the only thing that I'm really concerned about is either Channeler, Sign, or Party. And my biggest fear there is actually Sign. Party is amazing, but if you're using it and you're an idiot, Party kills you. So.
Party, I think if Party ever got hit, I don't think it really hurt the deck much.
Okay.
Just because you're never really going to use 3. I wouldn't think.
Okay.
Or else you're in a really bad position. Sign, I could see getting limited or semi, just because that is 3 grab with stuff like Party and Channeler and other discarded type effects. As well as re-grabbing your Elegant Egotist for more plays.
And for the record, Egotist does not need to be hit. Yes, it's powerful. No, it's not as powerful as you people are thinking it is.
Oh yeah, I don't think it needs to hit. In fact, I think I'm only going to run it at 1 anyways, so. Just because with Sign grabs and whatnot, it's just not, that wouldn't need to get hit. Sign would almost more just because it re-grabs it and then grabs a bunch of stuff for being popped itself or discarded, as I said. Channeler, I could see because that's basically your quick rank plays into 4s and 7s. With 7s, I honestly don't think are their more powerful plays. I almost feel like they're their stall plays. I think 4 is where their big thing is, because Chidori spam is just fun. It is. She's like, bottom that, top that, please stop. No, it's like I have Ryza.
And if you're a decent Harpy player, you might actually be running a Ryza.
I've debated it, but I don't know. I'm playing a weird variant right now that's like, save zone your thing, bounce back, or pop it. Just shenanigans like that. And Swallow's Nest is kind of really fun in that deck.
Alright, then the only other thing that I really want to bring up is Noble Knights. Dear God, I want boards to go to 1.
Noble Knights, unfortunately, my main opponent is my friend Jeff, who hasn't quite figured out the deck just yet.
Okay.
And the last thing I had was 20 turns until eventually he went into the XYZ and I arced it. And just fizzled out all his equip.
Yeah, Jeff was very sad about that.
He was just like, really? You should have kept the normal out. Really? This game is going on forever. But I think they could be good from what I've seen. They've got a lot. Boars, seen as he does grab because he's the 3 grabber, right?
Yep.
Yeah, him getting hit to 1, I would honestly be okay with, because 3 grabbers are probably really really powerful in decks like that.
Yeah, the only other thing that even comes close to it is Power Tool, and even Power Tool pushes them back to the deck. Boar sends them to the fucking grave.
And that's practically where you want them.
Yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. Power Tool, as you said, it was just the deck grab. That's the thing. No matter what, you're basically plussing 3. That's already really good with all their XYZs and whatnot. That just, oh, I'm out. I'm gonna grab all my swords. Put those back.
But I'm perfectly allowed to grab all of these swords.
It's like, I have all the swords. Put those back. Can I have this axe? No.
Why? It has Noble Knight Axe in its name. No, it doesn't. Put it back.
Noble Knight. I don't even know if there.
No, there is not an axe.
I'm trying to think Arthur Legend, if any of them used an axe. Nope.
I think one of them did actually use an axe. I'm not sure, though. I know
I do really like...
Several of them are known for using lances and claymores, but axes is not something that I recall directly.
Yeah, unfortunately my class only briefly touched on the subject.
Okay.
But I do really like the theme, I guess, of Noble Knights, both the Arthurian type of theme and the...
Which is weird because they don't go into Comic Hero or Cosmic Hero. That is sad.
It is. I think Jeff once did just cuz.
I
I'm gonna
want
do
them
it.
to, because Comic and Cosmics Hero are not bad cards. They're not.
Mm-mm. They really aren't. They're pretty good cards. It's just there's almost better plays with their actual
Yeah,
straight
there's much better plays. All right, I think that about wraps us up for the day. Any final thoughts, Mister Lyoko?
Not really. I think I've expressed a lot of them and mangled too many that I probably shouldn't say too much more.
Okay. As just a quick added-on summary, Evil Swarm is all but dead. There's really no reason to be running it anymore. You can stop trying to convince us that Evil Swarm is still powerful. With Dragon Rulers gone to such extremes that they're gone now, Evil Swarms are just no longer viable. The same can be said for a couple of other decks. With Rekindling down to 1, Shooting Star Lavels are gone. It's just not feasible.
Bye bye.
And one other thing. Lightsworn, watch out, because even though Minerva, Michael, Felice, and Raiden aren't actually in the TCG yet, they will be coming out in the TCG within the next month. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Lightsworn, especially if we even get close to what the OCG got with their super pack that pretty much was a competitive Lightsworn deck. I hate that they printed that damn thing.
Yeah. Also, we're getting Lightsworn Sanctuary, whatever that is.
I think that's the actual name of the structure deck.
No, there's a card in there called that.
Oh.
I'm really hoping it's a spell card. I want it to be a field spell because I want them to have a field spell that matters.
Well, yeah,
I want it to be a
Realm of
card
Light,
that,
even though it is a field spell, it does not matter.
I want it to be a card that you can't activate this card, but if it's milled, it activates.
Yeah.
I just want cool mechanics like that. That's what I love about Sylvans. I just love any weird mechanics that add to the game.
It's why I was really looking forward to Artifact. Speaking of, the Artifact engine is very popular, but don't expect to be seeing the archetype all that often, because honestly, I haven't figured out a decent way to run artifacts, and the times that I mirrored it, I got my ass kicked.
You bring out the 5, you make both players draw, and then you draw a Lockbird to that so nobody draws. It's just like, nobody draws. You should have activated that on my turn.
Alright. And with that, guys, I think we're done here. So, this has been Gerdat14 and Lyoko.
Have a good day.